A legacy of vision, failure, and redemption. In the pantheon of modern oratory, few speeches have left as lasting an impression as Steve Jobs' 2005 Stanford Commencement Address. Delivered with humility, candor, and narrative brilliance, the speech encapsulated not just the ethos of a man who changed the world of technology, but also universal truths about life, success, and mortality. Today, this speech is not only remembered as Jobs' greatest, but also one of the most powerful motivational addresses ever given. A man of paradoxes. By 2005, Steve Jobs had already achieved legendary status. He had co-founded Apple, revolutionized personal computing, and then, after being ousted from the very company he helped create, staged one of the most dramatic comebacks in business history. Jobs' return to Apple in the late 1990s marked the beginning of an unprecedented era of innovation, resulting in products like the iMac, iPod, and eventually the iPhone. Yet the speech he delivered at Stanford was not filled with technical jargon or self-congratulation. Instead, it was disarmingly personal. Jobs spoke not as a billionaire CEO, but as a man reflecting on the winding road of life. He structured his speech around three stories: connecting the dots, love and loss, and death. Connecting the dots. Jobs began with a story about dropping out of Reed College. To many, this might sound like the beginning of failure. But Jobs explained that dropping out allowed him to stop taking required classes he had no interest in and start taking those that fascinated him, like calligraphy. At the time, it seemed like a pointless indulgence. Yet that class profoundly influenced the Macintosh computer's design, giving it a level of typographic sophistication unheard of at the time. This message has become a mantra for countless individuals navigating uncertainty. Jobs emphasized that we must trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future, and that we need to follow our intuition, even when it leads us off the well-worn path. Love and loss. In his second story, Jobs recounted being fired from Apple at the age of 30. The very company he had built had turned its back on him. The experience could have shattered him, but instead, it liberated him. In the years that followed, he started two new companies, Next and Pixar. Next would eventually be acquired by Apple, forming the foundation for macOS. Pixar would become a pioneer in computer animation, producing hits like Toy Story. Death. The final and most profound story Jobs told was about death. A year before the speech, he had been diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. Initially told he had only months to live, a biopsy later revealed a treatable form. The experience, however, left a deep impression. Jobs urged the graduates to live each day as if it were their last, and to have the courage to follow their hearts. He reminded them that their time is limited, so they shouldn't waste it living someone else's life. A global impact. The speech quickly went viral, long before going viral was a common phrase. It has since been viewed tens of millions of times on platforms like YouTube and cited in countless books, articles, and motivational talks. What made the speech so powerful was its authenticity. Jobs did not sugarcoat his failures or present a polished version of success. He was vulnerable, reflective, and deeply human. Moreover, the speech transcended its immediate audience. Though delivered to a class of Stanford graduates, its messages are universal. Whether you're a student, a professional, an artist, or an entrepreneur, Jobs' words challenge you to look beyond conventional wisdom, to embrace risk, and to trust in the unpredictable journey of life. A timeless message. Steve Jobs' 2005 Stanford Commencement Address remains a masterclass in communication, not because of its eloquence alone, but because of the truths it revealed. It was a speech about the importance of following one's passion, accepting failure as part of the process, and living with the end in mind.